Peace, HHDG. We are on another episode of HHDG Media, the podcast. And shout out to everyone right now tuning in through our YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook group, Hip Hop Discussion Group, also known as HHDG. As you can see in the bottom banner, we have our website, hhdgmedia.com, where you can go see the latest music we put up there, as well as our written interviews, our live interviews, and also merch and upcoming events. As always, this is a company, HHDG Media Inc., will consist of 5 owners, one being myself, Wiki, the others being Rock Vader KB, Skelly Top, T Smith, and the mayor. For tonight, we have 3 talents all repping New York who I'm gonna love to hear how the 3 of them came to be, because I know 2 have done an album together, and the other has been a guest feature on a future project as well, as soon to come this year. But individually, they all hone their own skills with the MCing and the production. And I can say, listening to their individual work, that this is almost a perfect match. You know, we have content related to politics, social consciousness, spirituality, and we got production that has a very melodic feel at time, and then can be just straight up boom bap coming from the producer Dub Sonata. And the concept of the EP Animal Bars, which we'll be talking about, which was released on March 25th, is a culmination of the 3 of them, their lyrical content with the production, and we have them coming together with a concept that not only makes me feel like I'm listening to a nature documentary, but at the same time showing how ill lyricism can be, to intertwine with characteristics, their behavior, and also mix that with how humans treat them. So we're not going to dive directly into the EP first, but we will go in depth with it, and I'm going to really enjoy, hearing how this all came to be. And in the past, we've had concept songs and albums, like I would say Apathy did one on a bill, paper bill before. We had Nas do it about a gun before. I mean, when you're a lyricist, the content or the subject can be endless. It's just how creative you are up here. And Nejma Nefertiti and AB continue to show that through their music and their projects. And we'll definitely dive a little bit into that as well. But without further ado, I know you don't want to hear too much of me talking right now. We want to hear about the 2 MCs and the producer that make up Animal Bars. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Nejma Nefertiti. Peace.
Peace, brother. Great to see you, man. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Absolutely. Appreciate you coming back on.
Absolutely, man. I see that Jane Wayne in the back too. Salute.
We also have Dub Sonata.
What's going on?
How you doing? Once again?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for having me back. Thank you for having all of us on. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And for the first time, we also have AB.
Yeah. What's good, brother? Good to be here, man.
How you doing?
I'm good,
Definitely.
man.
Good to have the 3 of you on here, to collectively speak about the project. Sometimes this brings out certain things that the other 2 might not know in the process of creating Animal Bars. So before we go into that, being that AB, this is your first time on here, Tell us a little bit about your come up in the New York rap scene, hip hop scene.
Oh man, I've been writing raps since I was, a child, practically since like 11 years old, maybe. So I always kind of, gravitated towards it. I had a shout out to my good homie who's like a older brother figure to me, my man Guy, who lived in the same building I grew up with, used to babysit me and my brother, and he put us on to hip hop as a youth. Was like steer me in the right direction. Was like, yo, look, you got to listen to Big Daddy Kane, and this is the best, and So it basically, I had the curiosity. He steered me the right way, but yeah, then ever since, ran around, made my way into graffiti, then later into writing and art, and so yeah, I've been in New York doing hip hop music, practically my whole life. Put out a bunch of music independently, a lot of stuff with my man Dub Sonata, who we speaking to. We've been putting out stuff with Man Bites Dog Records, which is a indie label down in the Virginia area,
Absolutely, yeah.
as well as stuff on our own. So we just, I've been running and touring around the world too with my brothers, Cannibal Ox, can't forget them, and we've been doing a lot of stuff all over. So yeah, that's a little brief breakdown of who I am, and and I'm also I will also say too, I'm kind of known for conceptual writing, and that's kind of my the jewel in my crown. So that's what I try
Definitely.
often.
And this EP, I mean, fits right in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Now, you and Dub did Media Shower. That was about 12 years ago, I believe now.
Yes, exactly. Yep. We did Media Shower on Man Bites Dog Records back in 2012. Yeah, very conceptual album in itself. We were talking about everything on there from, the drug wars in this country to, stories to, the nature of life and evolution and all type of stuff. Had a bunch of great guests on there. Also, we had Rock Marciano on the album, Rhyme Fest. Who else, Doug?
Scram Jones, Sean Price,
Right, Scram Jones, right?
Vast and Vortal,
Vast and
times.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was. Anybody I'm missing?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. But why don't you tell them about the remixes?
Right.
So yeah, we actually. So that was like you said, a dozen years ago. But we actually are just in the process of. We have been in the last few weeks and months, and we're about to release the whole project. We've been releasing remixes and alternate versions, like outtakes from Media Shower, which were kind of things. We had different versions, we had remixes, some of the stuff we were sitting on, and we had almost like a little alternate album. So we were like, all right, let's call it Alternate Media and release it kind of for the 10-year anniversary, which kind of delayed out to now we're in the 12-year mark, but we actually just started dropping it. So it's like we got a couple Bronze Nazareth remixes of the Sean Price Scram Jones one called Some Bullshit. We got also we have Evidence on the album from Dilated People, and we have a remix for that one as well with Cannibal Ox as well. Called Street Survival, and that has another Bronze Nazareth remix. We got another alternate verse for the title track, Media Shower, with Rhyme Fest on it, and we also have Nejma making a guest spot on that one as well. And yeah, it's just kind of a dope little different spin. We got we have a a Blockhead remix of the Rock Marciano joint as well, Lord Knows What. And so it's just like kind of, it's a way to kind of remind people about the old project. And they were just kind of versions, as we develop this music, we're not like, we don't put out stuff and throw it out. We're kind of, we dig deep, we work hard to create stuff. So that means often when we come to the final song, there might have been 5 or 6 versions that the public doesn't hear, but we were kind of like, you know what? A lot of these are dope. They need to, they need their own kind of air to breathe, and why not? And it was kind of a cool kind of, we had the media shower, then like alternate media. The title was even good. It lent itself. We're like, we got to do it. So we actually just released the vinyl for media shower, and which we never had back then. So we did a vinyl, and we put 5 of the new remixes or new versions on the media shower vinyl. So those 5 plus another 3 or 4 will go on the complete digital alternate media project, and that will be dropping soon in its entirety.
Yeah, and I put up the link for anyone to go and support that through Dub Sonata's Bandcamp.
Word up.
Thank you.
Definitely. Also, for the month of April is an anniversary for you, Dub. Nights in Cuba Revisited.
Yes, forgot about that. Yep. Thank you. Yeah, so another old album, kind of similar. Did something similar like we did to Media Shower. Reissued it on vinyl last year with some new material on the D side. It's a double LP instrumental album. We probably spoke in depth about it last time I was here. So yeah, for all the instrumental heads, the beat scene heads, check it out if you haven't already. It's called Nights in Cuba. It's all kind of traditional Cuban music themed. Definitely a project I'm really proud of.
Definitely.
Yeah. On that note, I went back to Cuba recently and kind of I made a sequel. So I've got a whole entire
nice
part 2 to that I've completed the music. I've been busy with other projects that are kind of more timely right now, like Animal Bars and a couple of other things. So music's done. I haven't really started thinking about releasing it, but hopefully, maybe end of this year, I'll get the sequel out there.
So that means you have more beautiful pictures to share with us.
I do. Thank you. Yeah, I do.
It's nice.
Yep.
Yeah, man. And I like that, that idea that you did too of also including some of your photography, the prints with the physicals as well.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's sometimes it's challenging for me to combine. I do a lot of photo work. It's not always easy to combine the photo work I do with the music I do, but with the Nights in Cuba project, it was very easy. It's kind of just all an experience that culminated into not only the music, but the music in the physical form, which is always nice to include artwork and photography with.
Yeah, that's dope. And one more anniversary for the month of April, and that comes with the harvest, fresh crops.
Oh wow, I ain't even realized it was the anniversary of that. That's funny. Yeah, shout out to Sonata who remixed that, because the original was the harvest. I'm really into remixes, and he's actually remixed a few of my projects, including me and Napoleon the Legend project, Alter Ego. I think we called it Alter Alias or something. Like I be getting, man, we be doing so much work, but yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's a dope one, man. I love that one. Shout out to Zanati who remixed that.
Definitely. And Zanati also did last year's the bar tape.
Yes, he did. He did the bar tape, and he also did what's the other one he did, man? There's one other one too. Oh yeah, Rap Away, the
Yes. Yep.
remix of Kung Fu. Yeah, so we work together a lot. He's a talented young brother, man. Yeah, I appreciate his creativity.
Definitely. Definitely. So here we have Nejma on the alternate of Media Shower. Was that the first time, Nejma, that you worked with Double AB and Dub Sonata?
I believe so. And well, actually, me and Double AB did a song that was dedicated to Vice Versus and End of the Week. We did that because we were, working with the residency, Miss B. Um, she did this whole thing, which was kind of like a spin-off at End of the Week, but kind of to bring artists together and then continue their relationships afterwards and just put a spotlight on artists. And we did that online during the pandemic. And then we had a live show, Knitting Factory at the end of that. So it was me, Double AB, and Intel of Second Generation Woo, and we did a song dedicated to like Vice versus AB. What's the name of it?
Another
Another
one.
Another one.
Another
Okay, yeah, I had to think about that for a minute. Now, that's a dope joint, man. Like, so that was
Yeah,
actually our first collab.
that was our first collaboration. Yep.
Yeah.
But then I don't know if this was next. This I think we started just we might have done some of this Animal Bars next, and then did this the one that's on the Media Shower remix. So,
Yeah.
but it's in the then we just started, like she was saying, we got cool doing this EO Dub spinoff. Shout out to Miss B called The Residency. And we kind of hosted our own shows and like it culminated with the big live performance. We got real tight, and then we just started doing a bunch of joints. And then, yeah, we just kind of planned out this Animal Bars thing and really started going hard.
That's dope. So that means Animal Bars was in between around that same time.
Yeah.
What was that first track?
The first track so the way it worked actually was, this is something that I had kind of conceptualized on my own. Like I said, I'm kind of known for like conceptual writing, and I kind of just kind of I could go into the story in more detail, but to break it down quickly, I like kind of brainstormed all the different animals, the first batch, and then and I sent over maybe I don't know how many. Would you remember how many it was, Nej? Maybe like 5 or 6 joints or something like that.
It was like 6 joints.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I did my first 6 animals, and then I sent them to her. So it wasn't one that started it. It was kind of a whole batch, So that's basically how it started. And then we started rolling out, and then she started bringing her own animals to the table, and we just started, kind of, building from there. So
now is there a personal connection with the certain animals that you pick?
Yeah, I mean, I just like always relate to animals, I guess, I'm kind of like, I'm not into it as in like I'm not an activist or anything, but I've always been very aware of animal rights, and I personally feel like animals we're animals, we're of the earth just like every other animal, and I don't believe in what most religions preach, which is like people are above animals and animals are I think that we're all just as divine or non-divine or whatever it is. That's always been my kind of personal philosophy. And because of that, I kind of like relate to all animals. So I kind of just think about animals like I think about myself. Like I see a pigeon land out my window, and I'm, and he's, trying to talk to his pigeon girl and have a good pigeon day. Like we all having a day, you know what I mean? So I always just, I always related to animals in that way. And so then when I just kind of, the idea kind of just kind of randomly hit me, I kind of started working on one animal, and then the next one hit me, and then it was like, oh, wow, this is an album. Like it would start out with one verse, and then I had another one, and then it's like, oh wait, this is a whole album. So that's kind of how it came about.
And I mean, you made a good point of not thinking that humans are above other animals in that sense. And if you ever like if you're in a park and you just happen to sit down and you just observe what's going on around you, and you see how the ecosystem is with other animals and how we're still a part of that. But just to see one particular animal, how they go through the day of, it's normal for them and what they do. And to see a human being, we have our normal process, but it's not embedded in us. Like we think the other animals have a certain survival in how they go through their day.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, we maybe have our own survival. Depends on where you are. It's in your face or not, but it is going on in humans, I would say. It's just not. Yeah. We found a way to make it not feel like that and to insulate ourselves. And it could be the same if you're in a ant colony that has a beautifully developed society, and you're in your little chamber that you feel like the outside world is not affecting you. And maybe for your daily life, it really isn't, but then, a flood comes along, or, something else comes along and wakes you up, and it's like, oh, we all out here, surfing the wave, man. Anything can happen.
It's true. Yep. Yeah, there's and just like other animals, depending on where they live or how the environment changes, they evolve. And humans are the same way. There's certain people that live in, I believe it's the Andes Mountains, where being that they're above sea level, and how the oxygen is different, they have more veins and capillaries in their fingertips and their toes to provide that extra oxygen throughout the body. And I remember when I was younger, because I love nature documentaries. There's a Pacific Island tribe. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't remember how to pronounce it. It's spelled Bajau. I think it's Bajau or Beju. And their main source of food is through fishing. And they're capable of being underwater for over 10 minutes.
Wow.
And this is something that's developed, after generation after generation. So, I mean, just like, that's why when you said, we're not separate from animals, we evolve the same way that they do.
Yeah, totally.
On the EP, being that we're all from New York, you brought up rats and pigeons, two things. And like I said, observing how they go through their day. I mean, we see them all the time. And what I enjoy is, like I was saying, being that is a concept album. Like I said in the intro, it feels like part nature documentary, because you're explaining characteristics of what they do throughout their day. And then you're also explaining how humans, treat them and how we treat ourselves through society. And then you have the other part of your skills, the lyricism. I mean, just tell us, how that whole creation, came to be. Because I'm on the outside as a fan, absorbing this and enjoying what I'm hearing. But tell us how that creation, came to be.
Nej, you want to go into your process a little bit? I was talking about already how I was brainstorming some of the topics. You could maybe talk about how you kind of took it from there.
Yeah, no doubt. And peace to everybody tapping into the chat too. Peace to everybody out there. We appreciate the love, man. I see y'all. Yo, like, first of all, I just gotta say, like, this is one of the most unique projects I've ever, you know, participated in. You know what I mean? Like when AB sent me, those 6 joints, I was compelled. Like I went every day into writing. It's like it's like, and that's how I do. If I'm compelled, like I just drop everything to work on something. And that's always like the best work comes out of that. So, I think like, Pigeons wasn't in there yet, I don't think. Um, I think I had the opportunity, to start that one off. But when I heard what he did, it's like I went and did my research on animals for one. That's my thing, right? Like it's like I had to go do my research and I learned so much about each animal. Like it was amazing. Like, it's like and just like I was always into like National Geographic. Like my mother would get the magazines that people threw out on the curb and she would bring them to me home when I was a kid. And I loved them joints. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I found a connection to that too. And I started doing my research and figuring out how can I complement what AB already did and put my twist on it and add to it, and not repeat what he said, but like complement it, enhance it, so it was a thought process of like, where should I come from? What facts didn't he say? And what can I put in there to kind of flip it a bit, to make it interesting. And I think that's what he wanted me to do too. And that's why, I'm saying, it's such a dope project. A lot of the interviews, a lot of the articles that came out spoke on that, like how we kept it interesting in that way, you know what I'm saying? And, people didn't get bored, like, you know what I'm saying? And so it was a lot of fun, you know what I'm saying? It was like a lot of knowledge and, that was my process. I mean, I was on it. Like I was intrigued, you know what I'm saying? And I thought I thought then and think that it was a genius, concept to come up with. I respect AB's bars, to the utmost. And like, then I got to really get to know Dub, some more. And it was just like such a pleasure working with him. So it was just a blessing all around. Like, and once we came up with the first, well, we decided to split it up, you know what I mean, into 2 parts, so we didn't like bang people in the head. You know what I mean? And I thought it was kind of dope because it lets them digest those 5 or whatever. But we could speak on that. But like, yeah, so maybe Dub could speak a little on that part. But yeah, like the process was just a beautiful experience, really. And then like we would go back and forth. I would send AB a verse I did or whatever, and like we would just, it was the camaraderie in hip hop, and it was just like it was fun. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of that shit is missing, with people right now. It's like what else do you have to talk about? You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's a lot of things to talk about. So I really appreciated this project. Like I said, it was one of the most unique projects I ever worked on.
Absolutely. Dub, tell us your thought process once this concept was presented to you.
Oh, I thought it was ill. I mean, no surprise, AB's always coming up with really dope, interesting, and unique concepts. Kind of daring, right? Because it kind of sounds like almost like silly at first, right? It's like it's a daring concept to take on in like the rap world. You know what I'm saying? It really takes work for them to do what they did, to talk about, dogs and pigeons and elephants in a really, fly, dope, hard
Yeah.
way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my first response was like, oh hell yeah, I mean, me and AB been working for like 20 years, so I just send him stuff periodically. He's probably got hundreds of my beats on his computer, so I mean, that's kind of how the process went, right? You probably had a couple beats of mine in mind.
Yeah.
I'm always just dumping beats through email. So I can't remember what the first ones were. But I remember, pigeons conceptually just kind of fit the beat that we chopped up, the TONY Walter Jackson sample. That was just kind of like a conceptual harmony, you know what I mean? Pigeons at the top of New York. Pretty memorable for any hip hop fan from that era is gonna kind of pick up on that immediately. So that was a special one.
Absolutely. And a key element which was done uh, perfectly is the cuts by
Mm-hmm.
Spliff, and it is not just the cuts; it's the selection of vocals that he used on each track.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, dub kind of plant. So we were, that was kind of in one of our initial combos, and the three of us, we were like, all right, so what do we do for hooks? And I was, one of us, or maybe all of us, came to the conclusion that we were like, yo, let's, I think it would be really dope for the majority of it to just have a DJ cut up, some samples. And we know, any animal you name, there's probably gonna be rappers that name check that animal. So we got to use those famous quotes. Dogs and cats, of course, there's a lot to choose from, but then it gets a little tricky. You gotta go to elephants. Oh shit, Ghostface, rough like an elephant tusk. And then it kind of reminds you of all these kind of fly lines that have been quoting the stuff. So Dub was very meticulous in lining the stuff up like this. He doesn't even, he don't even want to send it to a DJ unless he has it like dropped in the place where the sample is gonna go, and have the DJ do the jigga jigga. But he wants to have it all lined up. So a lot of that, goes hats off to Dub as well, and Tone Spliff, who just killed the cuts beautifully and executed them so well that it just brought the whole project together.
Word.
We talking a lot about pigeons so far. Let's talk about the last track, Mosquitoes, because again, when you listen to the album, and like I said, I'm a big nature documentary fan, so I'm listening to y'all rhyming, and I'm just visualizing everything that you're talking about with ease, and it's not easy to like you said in the beginning, it's not easy to talk about some of these animals in the way that the two of you did, and to again, your MCs, the talent is there, the experience is there, but again, there's still part of that is the research, and this is all factual that you're spitting on here. So with mosquitoes, one of the things, they're a pest, they're annoying, as most people know. But to explain the whole process of how they go through life, with the blood sucking, which is only females, not males. A lot of people still don't know that. And
Right.
Just that whole, the whole circle of life process, what they go through, and how you just went in with it. It was unexpected, but again, it came out dope.
Right. Yeah, I think that was, just typical of the whole project. We just, trying to turn, kind of turn your head around and be like, well, here's an animal we all hate, you know what I mean? Universally, like, they say it's the responsible for the most deaths of humans compared to any other animal by far, is the mosquito. But then on the flip side, right, it is just the females trying to feed their children. Like, so it's like, this is, you could maybe relate to it in a way, also it's just, it's caught up in the scramble like everything else. So, we just trying to paint that picture, and then, also use it as an allegory for other things going on. I think Nejma was really good on a lot of these tracks, in where, like, a lot of the time, since I kind of set off the concept, I'm talking like on maybe the majority of them, I'm just like more steeped in the actual animal. And Nej will talk about the animal too, but she'll give you a little, just a little analogy to how these animals are like other things in other parts of our life, which is kind of dope, which is kind of doesn't make it just a nature documentary, you know what I mean? Which might get maybe boring for some people. She'll flip it back to real life and, everything, the street life, everything in between, So it's like, it's just a good way to, attack each concept.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that verse. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My bad. I was just gonna say mosquitoes is a lot of people's favorite joint, and I was kind of surprised by that because it's like like naturally, it's not that I don't think it's dope. I love the track, but it's like if you ask me what's my least favorite, it was that, because it's a mosquito almost to make me. It's like and like those mosquito sounds in it, man. Like the first couple times I listened to it, I was like, like
Like,
you know what I'm saying? And people love that joint though. Like I was surprised that it was a lot of people's favorite, and it just goes to show you, you never know like what's gonna speak, to people and stuff. And I was talking about like, AB was saying, like I flipped it on a surveillance type thing, and different aspects of it. But yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, because you mentioned about them bombing and then talking about coming through the mothership.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm. And then on elephants, and this is something I learned a long time ago, how elephants' memory is, and you brought it right to the forefront, AAB, and you gave a food for thought in the beginning, the way you started it off too.
yeah, they say an elephant never forgets. So every bad decision that he's
This,
made,
yep.
he must forever regret.
Yeah, that was hard, man. It's
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, woo, that just had you thinking, like, yeah, that's a special one. Elephants, I always say, like, to me, it's the soul of the project. It's like, it has like some spiritual element in there. It's one of
Yeah.
my favorites.
Yeah, I agree. I think I like it because it just very simply, the beat sounds like an elephant. Those horns just make you think of an elephant. It just like, it feels like the animal, and like she said, it's super soulful. Our verses kind of like cut to the heart of it, and you
Hmm.
just feel, it's just like, yeah, we're really just getting in there, and just letting you feel this animal's kind of plight, which is kind of I think people, I don't know, relate to it somehow.
Like you said, the gentlest of giants until they hunted for their tusks.
Yep. Watch out.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What Dub Sonata, what made you go with the horns on this one?
I mean, that, a lot of the beat, ultimately the beat selections come down to the artist. You know what I'm saying? Like that beat, to be honest with you, man, I first made that beat. That's like kind of a newer rendition of a beat I must have made 20 years ago. I don't know. I mean, I just make beats and I send them to people I work with. So it's really, the genius lies where the artists pick them up and kind of hear the elephant in the horns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That beat was just a beat until they turned it into elephants.
It was fun. It's funny because that one was sitting for Matt. like I'll spill the tea of some of this to give you a little behind the scenes. A lot, the first like chunk, maybe that first six or whatever, was beats that Dub, it was like cleaning out the closet of like some old dub beats that I've had, had, like he said, he might have redid them or touched them up, but it's stuff that had been sitting for a long time that we kind of maybe glossed over for other projects, and they were the stuff that was still good, but we weren't choosing, but somehow they just fit. Like I went through when I started brainstorming this one, and I was like, all right, we got, I had this idea for the project, and I already had, a bunch of verses for it. So I just started matching them up and seeing what sounds like what. Let me just go through a bunch of Dub's joints, and I just said, it was like we found that first, whatever it was, that first chunk. And I was like, here, boom, 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 boom. And he's like, yep. This one, no, yep. And so it was like, we just put it together real, quickly, but some of it was just like divine inspiration, because like I said, the Elephants one had been out there forever, and we glossed over it for other stuff. It's like, I don't want to pick that one, but for Elephants, it was the perfect beat, and now it's my favorite joint on the project. And it's like, sometimes these things sit until they find their destiny, and then they find the exact right home for them. You know what I mean? So, that was the case for some, a chunk of them on this one. And then like Pigeons, there was some other ones that are newer beats of his that we were like, oh, all right, we got to throw this in the mix. You know what I mean? So that's how it kind of shaped up. But they fit, they fit most of the time they're fitting the feeling of the animal.
Pigeons was kind of conceptualized, like you came up with the hook
First.
for
Because
the
at first we almost didn't use it. You played it for me. You're like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do this on some animal shit. This one's a hit. I needed it to be on some, like whatever. And I was like, well, listen, it's TONY, it's top of New York, right? I was like, why don't we do Pigeons? Because Pigeons are at the top of New York. He was like, yeah, but you got to do a hook. You got to make a hook that makes it, that merges the two songs. The idea of Pigeons with the old CNN TONY shit, and I was like, I bet, and we did it. You know what I mean? And it and that one has, it was one of the only ones with a real like, a vocal hook from one of us on it rather than scratches. And that one is kind of, it's kind of catchy because of that. It kind of has it. That's the first single, and it kind of has an extra level of repeatability and slap to it because of that.
What was I gonna say? There was a part on elephants where Nejma was saying, if you see an elephant stagger, to step out the way. Sorry, about stepping out the way, or you're gonna get trucked over like bad rappers, right?
Yeah, you're gonna get or you'll get crushed like bad
That's right.
rappers.
Rappers, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I know people hit me about that, and they, like Dub said, it's like I think people found a lot of humor too in the project, but it's like it was so dope as well. But it's like there's a lot of it's fun, like what I'm saying. Like I said
Yeah.
before, it's fun. Like people just found a lot of humor in it too. They didn't expect that, like to be a hip hop project. Like
People ask, when I tell people the concept is funny, people are like, is this for children? And I'm like, no, it's not. We got curses on there. It's not exactly, but it's not for them. I mean, it's a good one to, it's deep and conceptual, and it's, it's, but not exactly for little kids, but
Right. We
yeah,
got
so you see that?
Yeah, I was about to put up that comment.
Where
Dana C, she said that the EP stands out in its originality. Dig it so much. For any of the guests, do you have a particular artist who influenced you with regard to conceptual projects?
I would say a huge influence to me. And I got opportunity to work with one of the artists on my new album, Lugs of Mahalia, I just released with Jit Beats, is Organized Confusion. And I got Prince Poe on there, but Prince Poe and Pharaoh Monch just used to rap about some really dope concepts. Specifically, one of my favorite songs is Straight Bullet, where they're rapping from the point of view of a bullet, which is the one that, kind of probably inspired Nas's one rapping as a gun. You know what I mean? So it's like, it was just so creative and inventive. And just they kind of struck me as just being able to delve into a topic that most rappers wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, because it would seem too much of a daunting task. And they're like, no, this is art. We're jumping in this motherfucker. And that's inspired me, and that's, kind of my philosophy too. And so, I'm sure Nej and Dub might have some artists they can speak on as well.
Go ahead, Doug.
No, go ahead. I'm trying to think of a good answer, but as a producer, I mean, maybe a little bit more difficult to answer. Madlib comes to mind with some of his projects. I could probably run down the laundry list of really dope producers who have done conceptual projects, but the concept here really comes to lyricism. So what you think, Nash?
I mean, definitely Nas and Wu-Tang for sure. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, inspired me a lot with that. I would say another artist that I was on here with before that we all know that's on this Animal Bars project is definitely Napoleon the Legend, because
Napoleon,
it's like he inspired me because he like is a big anime fan, and obviously like he's really like flipped that into a real hip hop art, and it was really inspiring, and that's actually not the total inspiration for my Jane Wayne's, you know what I mean? The Thriller and the Villain, but I thought about it like, for me, it's like it was like the martial arts movies, but it was like the ones with the women. There's like a Wu-Tang collection, but like the original, Wu-Tang collection of women's series that I've always loved. Like if you look it up, you'll see all them coming up like on YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like there was always this theme about a woman getting her revenge from being raped, or like, that was like and it's like kind of sad, but that was the theme most of the times of those films. And so she would go like get her revenge, or like, it's like she learned how to fight or whatever, and she just be like kicking ass, you know what I'm saying? And it's like there's nothing I love more than to see a woman kicking ass, and just like, especially one that was such an underdog, that was like belittled, or endured abuse or whatever, and then just coming back and just like fucking people up, like, you know what I mean? And so that was my whole like, it just sparked that idea, I think, from working over the years with Napoleon. And I was like, what I was like, yo, like that's kind of where Jane Wayne was built, because it's like that's kind of like an alter ego of mine, where it's like, I said Jane Wayne because it's not like Bruce Wayne, like she's not a superhero, she's a villain. And it's like I was always interested in the story behind the villains, because it's like, people will be like, oh, they're a villain or whatever, but you don't know their story, how they became a villain. And it's like, we all look at all these superheroes, but many of them are fascists and work with the police and all that kind of stuff. And I was never really into that. Like I liked the Joker, I liked the villain, like, you know what I'm saying? And I was intrigued by that. So, I would say, yeah, shout out to Napoleon the Legend too, for really inspiring me. And, and everybody here that I've worked with, like, I don't work with people that don't inspire me, It's like doing this project or any project I've done with anybody always elevates my pen, elevates my mentality, or else I don't want to do it, It's like I grow from that experience, and I become better. So
Word.
And Nejma, with your on your IG, I know that you like to put those skills to the test with the producers that put up their beats, and you have the little side to side, and you spit some bars on there. Do you feel that that's a good lyrical exercise for other MCs?
Oh, definitely. I think it's fun. Like I said, like if you see me doing one of those videos, then trust that I seen it and I got so inspired that I dropped everything and just did it, and then moved on with the rest of my day. Or like I'll be like, I gotta go home and record this real quick. Like it's
Yeah,
like to me, yeah, like I get inspired and yeah, it keeps the vocals warm and it kind of like you take from the other person's energy. And yeah, I love those duets. Like I think they're mad fun.
You
And
be smoking them shits.
say what?
I feel bad for the other artists after her and before her, man. I'll be watching them shits. I'm like, woo, fire.
Yeah, they're mad fun.
She also killed that Wu-Tang shit.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I was going
Ah,
to talk about that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't,
yeah.
Nesma. I don't know if you saw, but I interviewed Pretty Bully last week.
Oh, I gotta watch that. Shout out to her,
Yeah,
yo. Really
so
dope.
I had to give you your shout out on the video, and I was saying I'm looking forward to the two of y'all working together. And she was all with it. So
Yeah, me too. We're just waiting for the right thing to come about. I never rush things like that, but we definitely talked about it after that studio session. One thing is that, you could tell like she's a good spirit in real life.
mhm.
So, yeah, it was great to meet her and her manager too. And, she just came out with a new album too. That's very dope.
Yeah,
Um,
in and out. Yep,
yeah, now she's definitely dope. And yeah, we'll come out with something when the
that's
time.
great. That's great. Double AB, you was just recently talking about a new project that also came out. I think it was the 19th last week. Lungs
Yep.
of Mahalia.
Yes.
When I saw you perform at FU and the album release last month, you
Right.
did the track On My Way. And at
Yep.
that point, at that time, I didn't know it was going to be on this project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you got a little sneak
Mhm.
peek of the album. You got a live preview. Yeah, man. We had a lot of fun that night too, man.
Yeah,
And so yeah, those and those joints have been going over very well live, and it's just always good to just that's how it's kind of dope because we actually this album was kind of much delayed. We were gonna put it out last year, but it's kind of got pushed back, and so by the time it comes out, I've been testing some of these in front of audiences, and I have my favorite. It's kind of even
okay.
better because you're like, oh, this one works, this one doesn't. Sometimes you put a song on because you try them out live and you see people, and it's kind of weird too because it might be just that room like this song, and another room's gonna like the other song, but it influences you when you're the creator. You're like, oh, they like this, they don't like this, so you're kind of adapting on the fly. So some of them you have that you're like, oh man, this one's gonna hit or this one's not.
Nice. And shout out Jit Beats, also from Staten Island, like myself.
Ah, yes. You were from. I didn't realize you were from the Stat. Yes, it is definitely a Shaolin master. Like up there with RZA and all these guys. It's the beat maniac and just super skilled with it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, that album is dope. I love the recliner video too.
Yes.
This is like so real, like the way you know what I mean. Like y'all caught the perfect day to do that, and just that's that. I love it.
yeah, we had. Well, I was gonna say we did have fun filming it because it was 420 Washington Square Park. I'm in
Mhm.
my robe in a recliner chair, bucket hat, smoking a ton of weed out there, and everybody was it was like a whole day. Everybody's coming. Oh, it's the king of the park. Oh, you got the right idea. You know what I mean? Everybody like flicking it up with us. But by the end of the day, boy, whoa! Shout out to Steven Tapia, who's my man who directed it, does a lot of my videos, is a creative genius. Love working with him. That's my brother. And but he, you know, he knows what he wants to see, and so we conceptualized it all before we did it, and we get in the park. And then, you know, of course, I got like, you know, a bag of like 80 pre-rolls that I, you know, spent like 4 days rolling before the video, you know, and big giant cones so they look extra cool for the camera, you know. And every shot, he's like, yo, we need big clouds of smoke. I need you to smoke more. Literally, I smoked 80 pre-rolls back to back to back.
Wow.
He's like, yo, blow, bigger smoke, blow it. So I'm like huffing and puffing these things. By the end of the day, I thought I was gonna take a nice weed sabbatical because, you know, I used to do one every year and I haven't done one in like 5 years, like where you take a month off. And I was like, oh my God, the end of that night, I was like, I'm never smoking weed again. My lungs wanted to close. And then, of course, the next fucking day I woke up, I was like, I can use some fucking weed right now, you know what I mean?
Oh man, that's
man. That's great. You mind if we give the people a little glimpse of that video?
Yeah, go right ahead, man.
Oh man, I don't want to go outside today. It's chilly as a mug out there, man.
Oh, you gotta go outside, man. You ain't gonna make no money in here, man. You gotta go outside.
Oh man, I don't want to go outside, baby. I won't.
Hey, you know what I say? Roll a little spliff. Once you light up, it'll warm you right up.
The chill of an unseasonably cold night in June, hugging my soul tight as I stroll right beneath the moon, brushing off an evil mood, trying to keep in tune with my inner peace is proving so difficult to do. A different open view, new vantage point is what I'm seeking through my next split. That's a panoramic joint, so take a pull and take a pan-Atlantic flight. Take a panic, chill pill, Xanax if you can't avoid the fright. We plan to voyage right into the very sky. You first looked up to with a teary eye. I can tell you why you scared to fly. You barely climbed 22nd floor terrace high. Now you want to share the air with God. You can't survive, you can't thrive up at my altitude. Impossible task, preposterous without an oxygen mask. So stick to whipping your luxury ride through the Ave, cause your mind's a tad basic for my flight path. But never mind all that. It's time to kick my feet up, recline on back. Sitting back in my recliner, smoking marijuana. Sitting back in my recliner, smoking marijuana. Sitting back in my recliner, smoking marijuana. Yeah,
Recliner off the lungs of Mahalia.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of videos, what are we gonna get from Animal Bars?
Tell them. So we want to do. Somebody else say it.
Go ahead, Dub.
Well, so you know, we released these 5 joints. We haven't really talked about it much, but we actually have an additional 5 joints that we're going to be dropping as a part 2, so to speak.
Nice.
You know, it'll be like its own standalone EP, Animal Bars Part 2, something like that. But really, we're gonna release all 10 as, you know, like a LP on a piece of vinyl. You know, hopefully in the next few months. We're just, you know, wrapping up the finishing touches and sprinkles on them right now. So, you know, we're looking at like end of summer, so we should have the next 5 you know, out there. So cat's out the bag. No pun intended.
Go.
Yep.
Nice, nice.
But visualize. We were planning to maybe do a pigeons video, but
Yeah. It's been kind of the hardest video to think of
man,
having
we've been scouting it on several angles. So we literally like
angles.
we were trying to get all 3 of us in it because Dub lives in Cali and we're here in New York. And so Dub will be in New York and be like, yo, it's time to film pigeons. tell Tapia, you know, we got to come out. But me and Tapia trying to wrap up Recliner and another things we doing. He actually did a remix video for us too that we still have to drop with for the original video he did for Sean Price and Scram Jones joint, some bullshit. So we have a new. So anyway, long story short is like we've been running around trying to put that video together, but something always comes up or it's not able to happen. I went to out for a while. We were trying to find like pigeon flyers, you know, people that fly pigeons on their roof like they used to do in Brownsville back in the days and all over the city, really. But there's very few of these people left. So there's like a handful. So I hit up my man J-Lo YNN, the ill hip hop dude, graffiti writer. His brother is Shucky Ducky from Boot Camp. You know, he's like just an OG in his own right, and he used to fly pigeons. So I was like, "Yo, do you still? We're trying to film this video." He's like, "Nah, I don't." But I'll tell you this cat. So he passed me off to somebody else and told me the dude out on where is it, on Broadway, and it's like out in Bushwick on some. It's like some dude he still got the pigeons on his roof. But he's used to everybody that's left with the pigeons, they want like stupid paper to do the shit. They're like, oh nah, yeah, we had Nike was out here last week, and so yeah, this guy was like, I went up, he was a character. Oh my God, I went there and I climbed the ladder, I went to see the coop, I did the whole thing. Like, so we've been doing recon on this shit. Like I've been to locations, but we haven't made it happen yet. But I think we will, you know, I think we'll get something, you know, especially by the time we do the vinyl for part 2. I think we'll try to put, you know, at least pigeons or one other visual out there. So you get at least one visual representation of the project. But pigeons is definitely, I think, the one we've been building on. And, you know, that should be, you know, it's kind of the staple one that needs to be there.
Yeah, I definitely got to get with you on the updates on that. Like,
yeah, we've been talking. Yes, it's funny. We're actually. I was waiting for you know, yeah, and I didn't want to put you on blast, but yeah, I'm waiting to hear from Nej about what the latest on the video is.
Yeah,
but we will
chop it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we was gonna get my homegirl Nor Kim for Life to do the video. You know, she does a lot of my video work, whether she's edited, you know, stuff I sent her or just shoots it herself. Mm-hmm. You know, I wanted her to shoot it though, because it's like a whole other visual when she shoots it.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? She's with it, and then and it's funny because it's a long story, but like I met this guy like named Don who, you know, shout out to him. He has this like he has a whole story of how he came up with this, but he has a streetwear line called Bird Block Collection with like a pigeon, like a New York pigeon with Tim's on and a hat, and he has all these different designs. And like, you know, he gave me a suit to wear for the video and everything. Like, and then, you know, we were kind of talking to him about it, and he had some ideas too, like that kind of flip, you know, because I was like, look, I said to myself, let's not stay stuck on the pigeon coop idea because it's kind of holding us back. So I was like, you know, where else could we go with it? You know, and so yeah, we're gonna chop it up though, but we definitely gonna do that for real.
Oh yeah,
that's cool. Speaking of Noah, you know, the track you have with her Going Up has definitely been doing this thing, and I'm feeling that joint.
Yeah, she produced that too, man. She's just such a talented person. Really, really great soul as well. You know, we became friends over the years, and you know, we're actually gonna perform that this Saturday. I don't know the location. It's gonna be a Brooklyn rooftop, so the flyer will be up on social media. But yeah, she was invited to perform a song for something, some kind of exclusive rooftop thing, and she was like, "Yo, you want to do Going Up?" And I was like, "Let's go." You know what I'm saying? And
you gotta do Going Up on the roof. Come on.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like, so we definitely coming with some visuals for that. We're working on some other stuff. And yeah, I mean, she produces and does all kind of stuff. So she's just a fun person to work with. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's through listening to you is how I found out about her when I checked the credits on your videos.
Yeah, she's all over my videos for sure. So that's what's up though. That's it's always dope to connect people, you know what I mean, through working with them and stuff. That's why I like to make sure I'm working with good people. They're not like, yo, who is this person?
You all in the fam. Big shout to
No.
Nor.
Yeah.
It's like that's like when me and you started working because we had both been cool with Napoleon and worked with Napoleon. So it's like, oh, you just realize certain people are already in your circle that you didn't even know was there. You're like, all right, oh, we're here. Like, yes, let's do it. All right, you want to do this project? Let's do it. Smash it
Yeah.
out. You know, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. And certain people are just, yeah, Nor incredible. Just artists that do what they feel and are creative and have the tools to bring their vision to a professional finish, which is it's always dope to witness.
Yeah, it's
Word.
great. It's great to see more creators, collaborating together, like what's been going on.
Yes, indeed.
So, Dub, what kind of secret things you got going on, man? Can you speak on any of it?
Um, Damn, it's not none of them are that secret, maybe, but they're not out there, maybe. But yeah, a lot of new projects and works. I got this album with Jit we just dropped, of course, Lungs of Mahalia. We also have an untitled second album we're polishing off. We got the alternate media me and Dub are putting out. Me and Dub also got a couple vault projects that are super conceptual that have been sitting that we might air out at some point. We got a thing called Grassroots, which has been sitting in I don't know if we should say it's been sitting because when you drop it, you want it to be new, but it's the funny thing, if you make timeless music, it doesn't matter. If you really write a deep concept, if it's something that's like that, it's almost like it doesn't change. You know what I mean? And it's crazy how we could dig things up from a vault and it'll be like, so it could be just as current. Sometimes things that happen to make it more current. Like everything's in a flux, right? Like a song is either aging well or not aging well, depending on the climate of culture around it, and sometimes and things go up and down and up and down. So it's like
Media
certain
shower,
songs.
media shower, and alternate media is a good example of that. So media shower came out in 2012. Very conceptual song, and we had these alternate verses from AB from Rhymefest, and then Nejma got involved, and she put down something which is super current and timely and relevant to today and what things that are happening. And then we sent it back to Rhymefest. He heard it and he was like, "Oh nah, me and AB, we can't use the alternates. We gotta just come brand new." And basically like
That's the funniest part, right? So
the
that
alternates, well, yeah. So I guess the alternate verses might never see the light of day.
so that one started. We started with the real alternate of that one. We're never gonna use. There's another one with another Rhymefest verse and another double AB verse that's like just in the vault forever. Like
The concepts were still timely because like the concept of like alternate media, fake news, so to speak, it's even more relevant today than it was 12 years ago. But like because technology has evolved so rapidly in the past decade, the things that they were talking about they were true, but just there's new forms of technology that exist now that didn't exist then, and blah blah blah. Anyway, so yeah, alternate media.
So yeah, then it was funny because Nejma put her verse that forced Rhymefest to update his verse, and then once he updated his verse, I had to update my verse. So it was like, all right, now we're all in step.
Now we got a brand new
It's a brand new song.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah, that's a dope joint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna drop that real soon. Like we gotta just pick a date and let it fly.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna put the cover back up because I wanted to speak on the artwork by is it Nadenico?
Yeah, Nadenico, man. Shout out to him. Dope artist.
I know he works with Napoleon and D Styles as well.
Yeah, that's where I was introduced to him myself. I was like, yo, this brother's dope. I want to use him for something one day. I just kept it in the back of my mind.
Yeah, he's real dope.
So who presented the the idea of what you wanted? And then you just went from there?
We were kind of brainstorming this one and trying to figure out like an idea. And then, I think I kind of came up with the concept of like the old animal crackers package, which
That's
is
exactly what I was thinking it looked like. Yep.
Yep. That is the original inspiration, and then it kind of morphed from there, but it kind of, so it's that kind of throwback feel, like weird, 1800 looking depictions of animals in cages, and so it's kind of it kind of has a weird swag of its own. It took me a little while to get used to it. I was like, oh shit, but it's beautiful, man. It's like, it's a shout out to him because he crushed it. It's definitely a beautiful piece of art that kind of is like left field. It's kind of not what you see on a regular rap album, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not a regular rap album, right? So why should
Right.
why should it
I
have?
remember when we were trying to figure out the title of Animal Bars. And
Right.
it's like I had thought of the title Animal Crackers, and then that's when we started talking about the Animal Cracker Box. But it was like, yeah, that's not quite the title though. And then
Yeah.
he kept like using the hashtag Animal Bars, and I was like, yo, that should be the title.
Yeah, yeah. It just
Like,
sounded the most
perfect.
like a rap album. It's true. She nailed it on a post. Shout out to Miss B. It was like it was on the tip of our tongue. We were because I was calling it Animal Instinct for a while. I gave some interviews and I called it Animal Instinct, and I was like, but that sounded cool, but it didn't have no oomph to it. It was just like, and then Miss B called it that in a post, and we were like, oh,
Yeah.
that's it.
It's crazy because she was talking about like the bars we were spitting, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, I was like, that sounds like the title.
Yeah, sometimes
So like
the
she
title
came
find
up
you.
with that not even knowing. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
She wasn't trying to name the album.
Yeah, like
She's thinking it's already named. She just
yeah.
she just did it, and it was like,
It works
oh,
out
that's
that
the
way
name. It just
sometimes.
became apparent, like, okay, I guess that's the name.
yeah. I was like, that
But-
sounds like a title right there.
Yeah. When a better name comes along and you got one, but it's not working, you're like, I guess that's it.
Yeah, Nadenico was cool too, because a lot of people, it's like we had a lot of changes going back and forth to kind of get things right, especially when there's more than one person involved. And he was cool about it, like he was mad professional. And I'm just throwing that out there, you know what I mean, because it's like that's like a very dope person to work with. And he didn't mind doing as many changes as we wanted, and not everybody's like that, so it's like it was a pleasure working with him as well.
We were like, yo, we want to change the pigeon to the upper left because that symbolizes flight, and have this.
And then we're like, this doesn't look right, never mind. And we're like, back, like, yo, he was like, no problem. I'm like, oh my God. Crazy. But yeah, it worked out.
That's dope. Shout out to Miss B, because she's been tuning in since the very beginning of this interview.
Nah.
Word up.
What up, Miss B?
When's the last time somebody's had animal crackers?
In a minute for me. Them shits is outdated as fuck.
Yeah,
you have a plain, dry ass animal cracker in 2024. Oh my God. I think my tongue will turn to chalk if I try to eat it today with the, with the selection of tasty treats on the market. We got Tate's cookies. The evolution came too far. This is like the evolution of actual animals. You can't eat an animal cracker in 2024. You know what a kid would think of those used to be for kids? It's like, is it a cookie or a cracker? First of all, why is a cracker? It's a cookie that calls itself a cracker? Like, why does the cookie want to be a cracker?
They probably think that our parents were trying to torture us with those things.
They're like, look at this picture on the box. It's like you could tell this shit is from another era. It's like that's like, what is going on? This Barnum and Bailey's, like, this is way before TV. You could tell certain products came before TV. You're like, this is some old type of shit. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, I mean, the dope part is that really did depict also the mistreatment of animals. Like,
Right.
It was
Yeah.
perfect for this
Animals
project.
in cages. Right.
Yeah, for real. Because it's like, you could flip that on so many levels. And it's just like, I thought that was really dope.
Yeah, it came out dope conceptually for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Mm. Being that you said that there's more coming with this album, and I thought about it in the beginning when you mentioned, when I asked about how you pick certain animals. Was there any particular animal that you didn't write about that you did think about possibly making a song with?
Yeah, I had one, which was another obvious one for the New Yorkers. You could almost guess it, but it's already a Nas song, Roaches. So I stayed away from Roaches just because, there's already a known kind of one that did it. You know what I mean? But and I would like to shout out Cannibal Ox on the original Pigeon song, because there's already a Pigeon song too, so we're not the first hip hop Pigeon song, but these things are all, we all inspire each other, so it's like, maybe we could do a Roach in the future, like, and do it in a, we just do it in a different way, you know what I mean? Or not, like I said, Nas himself is doing I Gave You Power, and Organized Confusion already did Stray Bullet. So, is it a bite? I don't know, but it's dope. More importantly,
Yeah.
Or as, Picasso used to say, good artists borrow, great artists steal, So
Yeah.
it's like, it's all, hey, things are up for grabs. You're not the first to come up with the idea, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny. When we just posted the Lungs of Mahalia cover, just dropped it. I seen somebody somewhere in the comments is like, "Oh, this is a bite off of my album cover." I'm like, "What? Your shit? What are you talking about, bro?" Like, this has been, first of all, it's been sitting on a hard drive for like 3 years before we dropped it, and it's like, I was like, "Nah, let me go through his." I couldn't even find what he was talking about. But I'm not saying that his shit wasn't even that he doesn't even have something that's maybe similar. I couldn't find it, but even if it was, we all are. Everything is similar.
Everything is derivative in some way.
Yeah. Come on. When I'm coming up with the ideas, I'm like remembering comics that I read when it's visual stuff or music too. It's like we're all inspired. You don't exist in a vacuum.
Look at
That's how we
sampling.
start.
Look at sampling. To some people it's copying, to other people,
right.
Art inspiring art and breathing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, it's funny for anybody in hip hop sample based music to be like, "Oh, we touched on that." It's like, nah, you sampled it. Roy Ayers did your whole thing. What are you talking about? You didn't make that. You didn't play that. Come on, you don't play the trumpet. Stop. We all are creative, and we all flexing, which means we touch on similar things that we all do. You know what I mean? So it's like, you gotta just be good with it. He who is the best will be remembered for it. That's it. And so it's like, make your shit hotter. Then that's why people complain, because they see something, they're like, "Oh, mine was kind of like it, but this was hotter." That's what you know what I mean? They're like, "Oh no," like, how dare he? But nah, it's like we all doing the same shit. It's like everybody's what it is.
Yeah. This question is for all three of you. Is there an animal out there that describes yourself?
Oh shit.
Good question.
That's a crazy one. Some philosophical shit.
It is.
That's funny. Yeah. I don't know. I guess it depends. Depends what day it is.
Yeah.
I'm all of them. I'm a night owl.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm a hood rat sometimes.
Good answer. Yeah, that's a good
You
answer.
know what I mean? I'm a card shark. I'm this, that, and the third, whatever, But I see myself in all of these creatures. Like, I relate to all of them, they all people too.
Nice. Double AB also has a new project out, Lungs in Mahalia. Um, Nejma, you have the Going Up, and Dub Sonata, you have a upcoming project coming out. Um, Break the Stereo. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's called Break the Stereo. It's with my man Muja, formerly known as Muja Messiah. Really, really dope artist from Minneapolis. I've been working with over the years. Um, we dropped a couple songs over the last few weeks. First one is the title track, Break the Stereo, featuring Tragedy. Big shouts to him. A couple days ago, we dropped the second single. It's called Redbone Blues. It features Slug, the rapper from Atmosphere, of course. We got a video for that. You can just type in Redbone Blues, Muja, Dub Sonata, it'll come up. And Nejma graces the album. We're going to be dropping her track, at some point in the next 2 months before the album drops. I'm not sure when yet, but the whole album drops June 21st. We've got CDs and vinyl available on my Bandcamp. Shouts to Man Bites Dog, who's doing the vinyl. Got Tone Split did some scratches on it. Bobby J from Rockaway put a verse down on it. I don't know if I'm forgetting anybody. It's a great project. Really, really proud of it. Really, really excited to get it out in the world. Should be doing a video for the track that Nejma's getting on. Hopefully, if we could pull that together.
Nice.
That joint is called Bad Apple. It's incredible. So big shouts to you. Thank you for the millionth time for getting on that. I love that one.
no doubt. I'm definitely gonna shoot visuals for that.
Dope. Okay, beautiful. We'll talk about that. But yeah, big shouts to Muja. Really, if anybody's not familiar with him, please tap in. And I guess now that we've already announced the new Animal Bars track, he makes an appearance on one of the new Animal Bars joints that we'll be dropping. So we'll save the which animal we're talking about maybe for the next discussion. But
Definitely.
Yeah, that artwork is crazy for that too. I love it. The Break the Stereo art.
Oh no doubt. Yeah. Now the artist's name is Harry Wishnawa, I think. I'm pretty sure he's in Indonesia, but yeah, he's incredible hand skills. So big shouts to him.
Nice.
Yep.
And last, we didn't mention that there's also CDs for Animal Bars out right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I got mine today in the mail.
There you go.
They look beautiful. You know what I mean? Mad dope, yo.
Hell yeah.
Dope to see it in person.
Yes.
Mad clean.
Yeah.
I got to scoop one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Big shouts to everybody.
But yeah, go just to
Put that
plug
link
it.
up there again.
Go hit Dub's Bandcamp, and they're still available. And thank you, big thank you to everybody for supporting, and we appreciate the people that still buy physicals.
Yeah.
So definitely thanks, and more coming soon.
Yeah, more coming soon.
Yes, y'all.
Nice. And I noticed also you had that nice little 5 CD bundle up on there too.
Yes, we got a few of those left. 5 albums. An album or two from from our each of our back catalog. plus Animal Bars, and we'll in a probably 2 or 3 months. I'm thinking 3 months realistically. We'll get the vinyl out. We'll get Animal Bars Part 2 out there end of the summer or something, and we'll cook up some special bundles for that one too.
Nice. Again, the album released March 15th EP released March 15th. Animal Bars. Available now, CD, digital. I appreciate Nejma, Dub Sonata, AB, taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you for having us, man.
Yeah, thanks for listening and paying attention. And we could tell by the questions you're bringing up, you did your homework, and it's much appreciated, my brother.
We appreciate it, definitely. And as always, you're always welcome to come back.
Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
So much for real, for the love and support consistently. Big salute to you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And on behalf of our HHDG Media crew, we're going to say peace.
Peace.
Peace.